Shalom. We're still in Parashat Kedushim. That means holiness. It relates to the holiness of Yahweh's people in relation to the collective or the nations. Specifically the nation of Israel, and then the nations who is to come into Israel, the righteous people of Elohim. Now the word holy connects with the word to divide, because you made a distinction between something that is regarded as holy or set apart for a specific purpose. It might be a specific place or space, or it might be a people. It might be the property of someone that is set apart unto them and separated unto them. So the concept of holiness and separation are linked through the word for divide, which is the letters Bet, Dalet, Lamet, which make the word Badal. Now, Lamet, associated with the shepherd's staff, has to do with learning and teaching. So that has the implication of having an understanding of the information that you need in order to distinguish between two things. And that is the only way you can determine whether something is set apart or not. If you have the information on how to define the one thing and separate it from the other thing and know what to look for. So that's the Lamet. Then you get the door. Now the door basically connects to the letter Bet. And the letter Bet, we all know, means house. Now the set apart house, the example we have in scripture, is the tabernacle. And we know that the tabernacle has an outer court, a holy place. It's got a dalet and a door to enter into the holy place. And there's requirements that you need to have and do in order to enter. And then you have the Holy of Holies, where there's another dalet, which is the veil that separates or divide the Holy of Holies from the holy place. Now in the same token, if you look at that in our context, if you have a field or a land, you need to separate yourself from the elements, which can be natural elements, it can be animals, it can be thieves, whatever is in the world. You need some sort of a framework, structure, boundary, and protection that set you apart. So in that context, we see that holiness defines protection. And we read in Psalm 91, we abide under the shadow of the Almighty, under His wings. So that's a place that guard and protect you. So that's a place of holiness and protection. And the feathers, of course, relates to the edge of a wing, which is form the base of the word tzitzit. And the four corners of the garment having the tzitzis are indication of the feathers and the symbolism of you abiding in the shadow of the Almighty, sitting under His wings. And that is under His authority in His household or His house, where you are protected against the elements. Now within the house, the tabernacle, there's a natural light, which is the menorah. Not a natural light, there's a light that is fueled by oil, which is in the holy place that displays darkness. And then in the Holy of Holies, it's the glory of Yahweh that displays darkness. Now those two concepts relates to creation. When you read about creation, we also read about things that are divided. Now in the beginning, Yahweh said, let there be light. And then Elohim divided the light from the darkness. That's the glory, the Shekinah glory light in the Holy of Holies. So that's the most holy light. And Yahweh Himself, through Elohim, separate the light from darkness. And He's the only one who has the pure knowledge, undefiled knowledge, in order to define darkness and define light. And we know that light is then translated to us through the medium of words, which is the Torah, and that define light to us so we can displace darkness. Now the second light is a menorah. Now a menorah can only have light when the priesthood interact with it. First they need to squeeze the olive to produce the oil. Then they have to put the oil in the lamp. Then they have to take their garments, old garments, make some wicks, and then they need to replace the wicks, but keep one flame going, probably the middle branch, and then replace all the wicks and transfer the flame so the flame will never go out, so there can be light inside the holy place. Now this relates to the other passage in creation that talks about let there be lights, plural. And in this context, the lights receive the commandment to separate day from night. Now, please note the first light is Yahweh's light that comes from him, and Elohim divided light and darkness. So he's the only one who can divide that light from the ultimate darkness. And then the lights that relates to menorah in the holy place are basically his priesthood, who are lights in this dark world, who need to fulfill a function, which is a set apart function, because the priesthood is set apart. And the end result of that is the lights that now shine, which are the 7-branch menorah, that displace darkness in the holy place, because that's the only source of light. And that's the same commandment given to the lights, which are in the firmament, the sun, moon, and stars, that has the task to divide day and night. Same concept. But there's another thing connected to the sun, moon, and stars. As we know, it's not only lights, they are also the time, concept of time, the gear work that defines time. And that's why the division between day and night associate with light and darkness, but also associate with time. And time, of course, we find in the last part of creation, where Yahweh rested on the 7th day, which is a timing aspect, and he sanctified the 7th day. So he set it apart. He divided day 7 from the rest of the 6 days in order to make time holy. But that time is a specific time defined by him, and that relates to the same lights that's connected to day and night, connected to the sun, moon, and stars, that are associated with the Moedim, the seasons or the appointments Yahweh has with us, revealing the work of Messiah. So the first light reveals the Torah, the light to distinguish between ultimate light, ultimate darkness, truth and lies, and the second light to find time, the Moedim, the festivals that are the lights that shine in this dark world, which the priesthood facilitates through their actions, because the commandment is given to the lights to divide the day and the night. And anything associated with time, which relates to the Sabbath cycle, the festival cycle, and then you get the Shemitah cycle. We are in the 7th Shemitah. We're in year 49. And next year, after September this year, we get the Jubilee year, the 50th cycle, which is a larger cycle. And the priesthood need to highlight that and reveal that to the nations so that they can understand where they are in the larger context of time. And these times relate to prophetic timelines that relates to the day of the Lord, the day of Yahweh, which associate with the time of the second coming, which is the final part of the restoration process, where the ultimate light will be restored. So that's just a bit of understanding about timing, separation, holiness, truth, lies, light and darkness, and the commandment given to the lights, the commandment given to the anointed ones, the ones that carry the light in the dark world. And then you can associate with that in relation to where you are in your relationship with Yahweh. So that's all I want to share today. I hope you have a lovely day, and we'll talk more about this coming Saturday. I hope you have a lovely day. Shalom.